Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're visiting Fort Washington Park. The history in this park is amazing. You will get to see lots and lots of things. I suggest you check the calendar before you go because there are certain days that they are not open. In fact, the day that we first went here, the fort wasn't open, but the rest of the park was, which was kind of like a bittersweet moment because we got to walk around the river trail and we got to see ruins that we normally wouldn't have seen. I will show you as we go along the different things, and this video is filled with lots and lots of videos and pictures. Now, mind you, I was walking on uneven ground, so they are not the steadiest of videos, but you will still get to see it. So if you live far away and you can't get here, then this will give you an idea of what you're missing. And if you are close enough to travel here, then that's great. Just take a trip. It's a great day trip. You can check it out and see all of the unique things that it has to offer. This fort was finished and completed in 1824, so you can tell it's very, very old. I'm going to take you through some rooms that are down below and all through the barracks and where the women of the time, for the corporals and generals and stuff like that, actually wash laundry and where their families stayed too. So stay tuned, watch through here as we walk, and you will see stuff like this craziness that is really scary. When we walk down here, I was really unsure about this. So I'll take you down in there and you'll get to see that. This was the first day that we were here, and during this time that the fort was closed. However, later on in the video, I'll take you through day 2 when the video was open. And here I am. I'm walking in the unknown. It's creepy. There are no signs here that says do not enter, but there probably should be because it's kind of scary to, walk down here. Who knows what in the world's in here? I mean, the building looks like it's completely fallen apart. So I didn't go too far in just in case the roof decided to cave in on me. I suggest you don't go all the way in either. But a good little look, and obviously people have been in there spray painting, which is sad to do that to the ruins. Okay, so we walked along and we continued across the river and continued throughout this entire day just exploring. Right there in the distance is a lighthouse. It is actually being renovated. And again, I'm walking on very unsteady ground, so sorry about the jittery and the shakiness of the video. Okay, so here is some more that is underground. Again, these are just old rooms. I believe that this was where people used to stay and sleep. I don't know. There wasn't any history on this in the pamphlet that we picked up for this particular part of the park. However, I'm sure you can research it and find out more information on it. As you can see, most of this is overgrown and it's completely covered. There are parts of this park that we couldn't even see the inside of the buildings because they were completely overtaken by weeds and growth of wildness. And also, if you're walking through here, be careful because as you've seen, there was a wasp and there was a wasp nest, and there are also ground bees. I did see those. So if you have a bee allergy, avoid this area. It's definitely overtaken. And as you can see through the pictures and stuff, it's a lot. Now, here's another little video of me walking around down here. And you can just kind of see the growth everywhere. It's just, this has a way of taking it back, I guess. As you can see, they've bricked off that area where you can't get in there, but here's some abandoned steps and more abandoned rooms. And the rooms get more intricate as we go along, and you'll see some cannons and stuff too. But this is the first day. The first day was mostly just abandoned buildings that were on the grounds that were not in the fort area. And so just be careful if you decide to go in here, and it's interesting to see. There's a lot of signage saying, different things and stuff. Not exactly sure if this door leads up into the fort. It was open, but then the inner door was locked, and there is a set of double steps inside the fort area that does come down to a doorway. And I'm thinking it comes down to here, but we did not go in that door. We opted not to go down those steps from the inside. So if you're here, you can check it out and let me know if this door actually leads up into the fort area, because we didn't check that part out. But over here, you will see lots of windows. I'll take you in there, and there's cannons in there and stuff like that later on in the video. But it's definitely a lot to see, and if you have the opportunity to visit, I'll leave the information down below too, what it's all about, and then you'll be able to see more. These little areas that I just showed you in the picture, those were actual forts at one time too, and it's all overgrown. In here, this is another one that is overgrown as well. I tried to zoom in to see if I could see anything, but no luck. It's all overgrown. Those things in the ground they used to hold cannons and stuff. Now, this area here is the river. This is along the back path. If you go down and you walk around past the lighthouse and down, you'll go on this very uneven, sketchy path, but it's so worth it. Just make sure you have some great shoes to go and walk through, because if you don't, you're going to end up slipping and sliding. If you have issues with walking on uneven ground, I would suggest you don't do this area because it's very difficult to walk. You'll see a lot of stuff back here. We saw lots of shells, and I don't suggest you take them because they might be somebody's home, but you definitely have tons and tons and tons of shells. I mean, the whole beach here is covered in shells, and further up it's rocks. And we've seen some like skeletal remains of fish down here. We also saw beautiful butterflies and dragonflies as well, some really creepy roots that look like they should be in a haunted movie. Um, Other than that, you go through further and you get back on the path, you'll be able to see lots of osprey, and then you will see, if you're lucky, a bald eagle, which we did see, and that was very, very nice. It's the second bald eagle I've seen, and I've lived in Maryland all my life, and it's beautiful to see that. As you can see here, my husband is holding more shells. I'm holding some shells as well. It's a lot to see, a lot to do as far as taking in nature, and this is just day one. Day two, which is further in the video, I will show you inside the fort. So hopefully you are able to come here. You could probably do this in a day if you started early, but if you really want to take it in, take your time, definitely make a 2-day trip out of it. But, you know, we are blessed enough to live close enough to where we could drive here in about an hour and a half. So for us, we made a couple trips out of it. We did one, you know, on the day that they were closed, which was a Monday, and then we came back on a Friday afternoon and finished it up. And there are also other trails that we did not walk on at Fort Washington because this is summertime and it was extremely hot. So, you know, that was an issue. But again, you can definitely take a trip here and enjoy it. Lots to see. There's a dead something bone as I'm passing it. I have no idea what that is, but it's a bone to something. So there's lots of stuff like that you'll see too. So if you like to collect that kind of stuff, which is kind of creepy, but some people do, you might find some if you walk the beach. No idea what this pipe is coming from. It kind of is concerning that it's running down into the beach like that. Hopefully that's just fresh water and not anything toxic that's busted up going into the water. But again, you'll see lots and lots of stuff, and it's so worth it. I hope that you get the opportunity to come here, have an adventure, take a day trip, check out some creepy trees that are really rotten and falling apart, and take in the nature of the river here. And if you also have the opportunity to come, you can make an entire week out of this if you really want it to, because there's lots of forts in this area. We also went to Fort what was it? Fort Piscataway. No, let me see. I have to think about it. Piscataway. That's it. I had to think. Sorry. We also went and seen Fort Piscataway. It's so hard to say that. I don't know why. But that one had a bridge that walked through like marshlands as well, and there's a lot of stuff there we saw too. But mainly there was a lot of like butterflies and dragonflies. But This one is directly across, and when you see my other video, you'll see when we're on the pier over at Piscataway looking over at this fort because they are directly across from each other. And it's pretty cool to see it. But here's a bridge, and this is part of the thing where I said things are uneven and a little sketchy for walking. It's kind of like, I don't know, adventurous maybe. And here you have like a little tiny skinny path walking down there. My husband went down there and he was looking at the ruins, and I just kind of stayed back on this one a little bit and just watched him. I was more worried about walking through that little grass there than anything because I was thinking snakes might come out, and I'm not even afraid of snakes, but like, I don't know, it's just like creepy. But anyway, the paths are nice. Um, Definitely not easy. I would, if I had to rate the paths going around the river, I would probably rate them to a hard to moderate hard to walking. You definitely need some shoes that have some good treads on it because there's a lot of like slick ground and uneven ground, and you'll have to go up and down on some things where you're going to need some treads. The day that I went, I actually had Crocs on because I did not intend on doing this. So I was sliding all over the place. At one point, I thought I was going to bust my bottom, but I didn't. Um, my husband helped me with that. Now, this, I have no idea what this is. If you do, I'd love to know. It looks like it might have been a covering for going down to the river. Not sure, but it was pretty interesting to see. And then as we're coming up on this part of the beach and we start going up this area and we walk up to the hill, we got to see the eagle. And I was like so incredibly shocked that I saw it. It was just kind of like he flew in and just landed right on the branch. It was absolutely beautiful to see. And the area here is just like a cliff that drops off into the water, like where the beach is and everything. So it's pretty high up, and you want to stay kind of away from that edge because who knows if it's actually strength, behind that dirt or if it's just going to eventually be mushy. But you'll see some vultures as well. And again, here's that eagle. It just landed right on that tree, and it was absolutely beautiful to see. And I tried to get a better video, but I'm literally recording with my cell phone, and it's very hard to be steady at the same time. So it's kind of disappointed I didn't have my SLR with me, but I'll have to go back and try that again, and hopefully I'll get to see some bald eagles when I do. But in the meantime, it was worth the hike. It was definitely worth it. I'd love to go back in the fall when the colors of the leaves are changing and everything. I think it would be gorgeous. Right here, we are back behind hiking, and it's another area that is really like um, abandoned. And here it's kind of creepy. I'm not really sure I want to be in here when I'm walking in here. So I did not go in these rooms. I just kind of did like a little peekaboo with the camera through it because I didn't like this at all. Like I literally stayed in here for a very limited amount of time and then I left because it just was not giving me a good vibe at all in here. So my husband, he just kind of stayed off to the distance and watching me record. At one point, I tried to get him to give me his camera so we could see a little bit more, or not his camera, but his flashlight with his phone, so you could see a little bit more. But it didn't help at all. And we tried. He tried looking in there and peeking too, but it just wasn't something I was gonna walk into. I was like, "Yep, nope, not doing that." And we continued walking around and looking at this little ruined area that's an old, old building. The lady did tell us what this was, but I do not remember. This is like, I don't know, I want to say 3 days, 4 days later when we were talking to her about it. Apparently, it was another barracks and stuff before Fort Washington was done. But as you can see, there's a chair in there. I have no idea why. It's kind of creepy. Reminds me of a torture thing, but the chair is definitely too new to be for torture for this era. But I don't know, maybe somebody had lived there. Who knows? But there's a lot of different like rooms like that in here that apparently people have been in since the original time. Now, you just keep looking through here and you'll just see more and more. And here I'm walking through. I'm just kind of like checking out the scenery as I'm going, and these old doors really did look cool to me. I don't know, it looks like they boarded them up so you couldn't get in there. They don't want you trespassing on that area, and I don't blame them. But again, here's another room. I did not go in to see where that door went to because I did not care. Um, but here is more from the view, more photos of the view from the previous one, and the steps and stuff. I did try to take some so you could see it where it's not so jittery as well. But again, the store was cool, and I don't know, I like old stuff, but I'm not willing to risk my life to see it. So I don't suggest you do it either. Just kind of, if you're going to look from the outside so that you're not in danger. Each room looks like it's slowly deteriorating and falling apart. I don't know how much longer they'll leave this stand here, if they'll even keep it, or if they'll fence it off like they did the one at Fort Washington. I would imagine they'll probably fence it off because it is a piece of history. It's a shame it's not maintained, though. So here's some photos of it, and hopefully you'll be able to see it from the photos a little bit clearer. Here's also a deer in the distance that we saw. He's just kind of looking at us as we're sitting there, so it was kind of cool. Large mushrooms and lots of like jumbo mushrooms too along the path. Okay, guys, so this is day 2. This is just showing you from the visitor center and around. Now that fort is fenced off. This is the visitor center. You can go in here and you can see some history of the people who used to live here and some maps of the era as well as currently. And then there are also some uniforms on soldiers and stuff like that, the type of wildlife you'll see, just basically some information. And there is also a bathroom in here as well. Okay, there's a bathroom at the front of the park too. And while you're in these rooms, you'll take notice there are buttons that you can press that will actually start to talk to you about the display itself. There are some relics to see in this room, and if you go into the other room, you'll see a big layout, which I'll show you shortly, of a map that shows you what's all around, and you'll be able to see the other forts and stuff that are nearby, and you can also see Piscataway Park on the map is, you know, that's displayed. So let's go over there and you'll be able to see that. Okay, so here's a big layout of the area that's on display. Future exhibits will also be here maybe next time. I'm in the area, but for right now, they're still working on those. Here has a legend and it tells you which area is which and what it is and what to look for. There are also pamphlets at the front of the visitor center with all of this information on it as well, so you can look at that too. But again, there's buttons for the display if you want to listen to them. I did not listen to them while I was here. But if you look at the legend and the big map that's sitting there, you'll be able to see the different forts that's around the area. I would take a day and plan to see those too and see what they're about. There's also a small little gift store in here that has some things on display about the fort that you can get. There aren't like bug sprays or anything like that. One thing I would suggest that you do get some tick spray because there are some ticks if you're going to walk around. And then here we'll start walking into the fort. Currently I'm walking over the drawbridge into the gatehouse. This was built around and constructed around 1820 to 1824. It has large wheels that operate the drawbridge with actually goes over top of a moat. You can see them through here. Then as we're walking through, you're going to see the guardhouse and the guards room. One is where the guardsmen used to stay and they would sleep and everything and relax. The other one is where they would house prisoners. Up to 6 prisoners could be housed in one room. And they could be in this prison for cursing, striking an officer, anything of the sorts. And if they didn't have windows, then they were in solitary. Definitely does not look like a place I'd want to be. Imagine being there at nighttime. This room here is the guard's house. This is where the soldiers would stay, and they could rest in here in between waiting for shifts to change. There's a table in here and a bed, as well as some things to do. Okay, so this was the officers' quarters. The house was structured and set up in 1824. It housed 4 commissioned officers and their families. These were of 10 junior officers that had ranks up to captain. With their families on duty at the fort, it became more pleasant because they had them with them. As you can see, there's some very old antique furniture in here. And further along in the video, I will show you more photos of this room along with some of the lighting and everything. But for now, let's go upstairs on the roof and see what we can see. Okay, so we're going to walk up the steps here. This is just beside the captain's quarters. And here, this area protects the north flank wall. This allows them to protect the drawbridge area, and they would fire cannons to anyone approaching that was an enemy from this area. And here, this is just a room that was off the top that I'm sure was used for someone at one point, but now it looks like it's used for storage. Right, now this is looking down. Down inside of this area here is where the women of the husbands and stuff like that that were in the service would help do laundry and would sometimes stay there. As you can see from each one of these half circles once stood a cannon, and it was all aiming out at the water, protecting incoming enemies. As you can see through looking at this video and all the photos that there are lots and lots of ways that they protected the fort from the enemy. And there was multiple ways up and multiple ways down. And as you can see, we are completely on top of the roof at this point, so they didn't leave any ground uncovered. While you're up here, keep your eyes open because you may see some birds or some vultures or even an eagle as they come in and land on the walls along the path. Here's another room that was up on the top as we were coming down from the first level. I'm assuming this was some kind of quarters as well. It's not on the map, so I don't know exactly what it is. And then this is just the view from on top of the roof looking down. We'll look at a few more photos of this area and the inside of the quarters, and then we'll explore some of the cannon areas that are underground. Okay, so when you go down here, you're going to have two little tunnel areas. Each one of them are equipped with a cannon. This points directly at the drawbridge, so anyone coming past or within that area would be fired on. Now, this cannon is just sitting here. Obviously, it's no longer functional, but you'll see further on when we go further down into the other ones how they were originally intended to be set up. And they all have like this little half moon area here that it rolled back and forth to give it an angle of which way they needed to shoot it. But it's a pretty interesting way that they would have the ability to shoot out if needed. There's two of these rooms pointing directly at the drawbridge. Now we're coming back outside, and as you can see from the upper part looking down in there, that they're well hidden. I don't know what this area was. I just saw it and thought it was interesting. Looks like a crawl space to something at one point. Okay, so here you can see the cannon pointing out the window, and it's on a track that goes halfway around. That's the track that I was talking about, and if you look closely, you can see the wheels that are on the bottom that allow it to glide left and right to rotate the cannon in the direction it needs to be. This room was pretty deep down, and we walked on this long hallway to get to it. It was kind of creepy at first, but I thought it was funny. Lots of old paint on the doors and stuff too, so don't let your kids touch it. Okay, so here are some cannons. The first three are from the original era. The rest are duplicates from later during different times that were replicas. All right, so then you can see over here you have the enlisted men's barracks. This area was finished in around 1821, and it was two rooms that was made up on the first floor, while the second level was a single dormitory. For a time when the fort needed a hospital, that was also here. Okay, so when we walked down here, we saw this gate and everything, and we originally thought it was a prison, but the pamphlet actually says on there that this area was originally designed to protect against the enemy troops from the back of the area, the fort. However, the evidence suggests that it was later used as a kitchen area for baking and stuff like that for the men that were staying at the fort. But as you can see out these windows, it does give you a pretty good view, so I can see how they wanted to protect the back of the fort, and who knows, maybe they really did use that for that. I'm not really sure, but it much seems of better use as a prison with those bars. It has that gate there and everything. So if you know anything about this area, just let me know in the comments below. Okay, so there were some rooms and stuff like that that we couldn't get into, and they had them locked off. You'll see me walk up to a door shortly that is completely locked with a chain lock and everything. That particular door actually only led outside. You could see through it, and it was just a bunch of overgrown weeds and stuff like that. But it was kind of still cool to go walk up to it. And if you walk down like the path to get into this little basement area that we were just in, that was like the cooking area, make sure you use that board because it's kind of slippery as well. But here is the doorway that I said led to nowhere. And on the other side, again, it's just weeds and overgrown stuff. But I thought it was still cool to walk up to and see it. It reminds you of a medieval times kind of thing. Right, so then here's the view walking back, and there's lots of levels and lots of steps and stuff that went here. But again, there are buildings that are here with rooms that we could not see. So if you walk around and you look at the different signages all around it, you'll be able to tell which is which and what was where and so on. And down here, this was just headquarters for people that were enlisted to sleep in with their wives and their members as well. It's just little rooms that were all made of brick. If you're down here, be careful though, because there are lots of bees and stuff. So just be cautious. And I didn't go in there. I just had no desire to walk in there. But the steps also are not like to modern time code, I would say, because they are definitely steeper and they were a little harder to get up and down. So be careful as well if you go down the steps for this little area, because that is like literally the only way down, and they're very like narrow in height. But there's a rail, so you could use that. Here's my husband taking a picture of a cannon, or looking over, taking a picture of the view, and I took a picture of him while he was doing that in front of the cannon. It's kind of cool to look at it. But this is how they worked. They went around in that little circle, and then you had the ones that actually moved with the wheels as well. This is the inside of a cannon that I took a picture of. And there's a lot to see here. I recommend it definitely if you want to come and do a day trip. Check it out, and I hope you enjoy it. While you're here, also take a check or take a visit to go look at Piscataway Park, and then there is other parks as well in the area that you can see. And if you look on Google, and I'll try to remember to link them below as well, there's a lot of national parks that have been implemented and saved over time for people to see, that's all surrounding this area, and you can really get a good look at what it's there, and really just kind of explore history. All right, well, I'm going to let you finish watching this. There's really not a lot left to see, just mostly of what everything we've just done. And like, subscribe, leave a question, suggestion, and comment below, and I will see you in the next adventure. Thanks a lot, and have a wonderful, blessed day.